welcome back, everyone, to episode 6. We're on episode 6. It's been a month and a half already that we've been running this one. So, how's your night going, bro?
Not too bad. Good day of football. Now gonna do this. Good way to end off the weekend.
Yeah, nice. I am ending my team on an L, a real big fat L to end the season, but that's fine. Hopefully, we can go find a quarterback in the next month or so. But we're here today with a new topic, and this one is pretty much all about the dark side and all about the Sith. But before we get into that, we're going to talk some of the Legos that we've had recently. So, Bailey, how is the Ghost? How was the set? How was the build? Just tell us everything about it.
It's a really good build. I really liked it a lot. Like it's really a nice size. I thought it was going to be bigger than it was, but it's probably about a foot by 10 inches, right about in there. I thought it was going to be bigger than that, which I'm not disappointed that it's that size. I am happy because it's room for more. I just assumed it was going to be bigger.
Right.
My only complaint with it is, and like I told you when I was building it, since it's supposed to be one of those play scale ones, the top piece, it just sits on top and it doesn't snap into place, which is same with the Phantom. It doesn't actually stick onto anything. So, if you're going to pick it up and move it, it's going to be kind of sketchy. I'm not moving anytime soon, so that's not going to be a problem. It's going to sit on the shelf, but that would be my only little problem with it is that I wish those pieces snapped in and were at least a little secure.
Right. Yeah, I've seen some of the actually watched Austrian Brick Fan make that one, and it seemed like it doesn't snap too well into place. But I didn't know if you'd rigged it in any ways.
No, I don't. I should start keeping like the extra pieces so I can start doing stuff like that. I don't have like a box for them right now. Next set I get is probably going to be like the that little play size gunship, and I'll just keep all the extra pieces and I'll start putting them in that box in the closet so I have them so I can do stuff like that. But I don't right now.
Right.
So it's just what it is.
It's actually, I was going to mention the UCS X-Wing. There's actually a flaw with the set and so the stand where it sits, it has the UCS plaque and the description of the X-Wing itself. And right where Luke and R2 sit, I actually noticed that there's two kind of like curved, like 2x2 pieces, the ones that are kind of like stacked. So those sit onto the Technic pieces, and when you put them on, if you were to push the X-Wing down onto the stand too hard, those pieces will actually pop off. So Lego actually issued a fix to it. So it's two Technic rods, and you put kind of like a saucer around each end. It's kind of like the cylinder tube looking ones, really small pieces. You put that into the Technic, and it sits on those two bars. So everything's fixed now.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, before I was building it, I was kind of looking up some videos to see like what people thought of the build, because it's like only like a 3 out of 5 on the Lego reviews, only just because it's kind of like some people say it's hard to kind of display in a reason, which I understand because it's actually a lot bigger than I thought it was.
Really? But it does look big in that pic you sent me.
Yeah, it's huge. But there actually is a spot where you put R2, in his little like droid part.
His little droid pod, yeah.
But I actually added on to the stand and went ahead and added another spot where I can sit R2 and Luke on the same like brick, like little plaque thing. Yeah. So that I kind of rigged a little bit, but I have a million extra pieces. So like, I don't throw any of them away. I keep them all. And like, especially with like all of Lindsay's sets and all the ones I have, like we literally have everything, like every backup piece you can think of.
Yeah, I should. I've never come across a set where I'm missing pieces. I've thought I have a couple times, and then I'll find it under like the instruction book or something. But I should, just in case that actually does happen.
Yeah, it definitely comes in handy. But actually, this happens like once like every 10 sets I do, but there was actually a missing piece and I had to find it, and I couldn't find it in my set. It was just a 3x1, like a longer gray tile, and I couldn't find it. So I had to actually replace it with like a 2x1 white tile and then a 1x1, just like a little stud white. And they're supposed to be gray, and that's on the back of the X-Wing, but you'd have to like really stare at it to, find it.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing.
Did you finish that set? Is it done, or are you still?
It's halfway. So now I just have the wings, and then the thruster engines on the back.
You see, my thing, I started building the Ghost. I didn't get started until about like 8:30 on Friday night.
Right.
And I mean, my OCD, I can't stop until I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
So I was up till 2:30 finishing it.
See, and it reminds me of the Rise of Skywalker Millennium Falcon, the one I have. And just by the
parts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of that, but I feel like the Ghost looks just a little more clunkier and it's a little taller. Just because, I mean, if you look at the ship in the shows, it is pretty clunky. It's kind of like
it's like a square brick.
Yeah.
Or a circular brick, kind of.
It's kind of like a octagon saucer.
Yeah, that's more apt a description than a circle. But it's still a great set, and I like the ship. I mean, I think we were talking this a long time ago, not even on this podcast. I think when we were still working together. You said that the color scheme on it's off.
Yeah.
Which I definitely noticed putting it together, but I don't care. I mean, I've about bought that set from the Rebels version of it a couple times off of eBay. But
I feel like with the colors, which like the like the green and like the blue, the red, all that stuff, like those are all like pretty accurate, but I feel like they went with like a more of a white like base color, because if you look at all the other ships that we get, they're all gray.
Yeah.
Millennium Falcon, gray. Super Star Destroyer, gray. The Executor, gray.
Well, yeah, especially with all the Imperial ships they've been doing recently, it's a lot of gray. We had the Mandalorian helmet. That's a different silvery gray, but, gray.
Right.
A lot of gray and a lot of black. It's nice to throw in the color with this. And, like, when we have the gunship coming up, that's mostly red. That'll be it'll be a nice deviation from the current color scheme.
Yeah. I've actually seen a lot of people with negative reviews on that, saying, like the the doors don't open well. You can't put, clones in there. There's not enough like tile pieces. But like to me, it's just like I'm not playing with it. It's to sit there. I'm not gonna have the doors open. I'm not gonna have clones sitting in it. Like that's just me though. If that's how someone does it, that's fine. Everyone should display everything differently. That way, everything doesn't look the same. But it's just, I don't know. I feel like we know we're Star Wars fans. Everyone nitpicks everything. But
yeah,
I mean, I'm still going to pick it up at some point. I'm hoping to get it in the next couple months, especially after March, because a lot of the sets that come out, I'm going to want them. So I feel like the Coruscant gunship will have to be, bought but from now to May. Got to have it.
I see the things I read say the mini scale ships are coming out in March, so I'm trying to get the gunship and the throne room scene, which are the last two sets that I would like that I don't have from last year's releases, snagged now, so that when those ships come out, I can get them.
Yeah,
completely caught up.
See, dude, I love the diorama sets.
I do too. I mean, I'm not a fan of like the trench run because I think the X-Wing looks goofy. And there's the trash compactor scene diorama, which I forgot about.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that today. I do need to get that because I love the C-3PO and the R2 that's with it. But at the same time, I feel like, because I think that was a $90 set, and it's just like way too much. I mean, the Clone Trooper Han and Luke is cool, but at the same time, I don't need to spend $90 just to get that, and a nice OG Leia minifig, which
Yeah.
you get that with the X-wing, so that's not a you get that with the X-wing, so it's not a bad pickup. But
I'm trying to think if I have a Leia. What do I do?
you do from the X-wing for sure.
Oh, it's been a long
She
time.
has the dress.
Okay, I bought the X-wing like 2 years ago, so she's probably just sitting on that thing. I just forgot about her. But getting these new ones will be nice because I don't have a Palpatine yet, and with these next sets, I'll get two.
Yeah.
Chancellor and Emperor.
Yep. Yeah, I just have the Emperor, and then I have a Christmas time Emperor.
That was from the calendar this year, right?
Yep. Dude, the Boba Fett mech, that minifig is fire. I didn't even keep it in the mech. That thing is up on the spice rack little thing I've done.
Yeah. I don't like the mechs. I don't want them.
The only thing that everyone complains about, which would make it look even better, is there's no cape. But it would look just like the old Boba Fett's that came out with the original Jabba's palace. Boba gets his bounty, like all of those sets. Like, it's all right.
Yeah.
Still a fire fig, but wrapping up with the Lego stuff, kind of getting to the main point. So it is 2024. It has been for the last week, and the Acolyte is coming out this year. And from some rumors and some different points on YouTube, Instagram, all through the grapevine, it's actually shot from the point of view of a Sith. So hearing that, what are your thoughts about that?
I think this show is going to be fire from whatever perspective they're shooting it from. We're getting High Republic. We're getting the white and gold robes, which we only really see in when we see that one Jedi in the new Jedi Survivor game. And there might be some older games where we see them. I'm not sure. I haven't played a whole lot of the older Star Wars games, so I'm not sure. So if we have, my bad. I haven't seen them. But so that's going to be a 10 out of 10 no matter what. Hopefully, and I don't want him to have like a main part of the show because I think then it'll be a little too fan servicey. But I do want to see in his prime High Republic Yoda in the robes.
Mm-hmm. That's all I need from it. I just need 2 seconds.
I want put him in an episode, 5-10 minutes. I want to get a little bit of him, but I think if he's like a main focal point of the show, I think then it's going to be a little overwhelming, and then people are just going to focus on, oh, it's Yoda.
Yeah.
Which is not what I want.
See, I think that's going to be tight, and especially with something I'm going to tell you here in a second because I don't know if you've heard about it, but with Yoda, I'm going to need, like I said, I at least just need 2 seconds. Got to see him in the white robes. It's fire. But the woman Sith, she has like a twin, so we get to see, or like a twin or a sister of some sort, and we get to see her kind of get taken away by the Jedi. So then we really get to understand like the Jedi and like how like unorganized it is. So we actually get to see the Sith, and I think we're actually gonna kind of fall for the Sith and like understand that they're not as
a little more.
Yeah, right. Like they're not as bad as people portray them, or the way Palpatine did things dirty, but ultimately he won, and it was incredibly smart. So you can't really be mad at him. The Sith have always been outnumbered since the beginning, and especially with the Acolyte, we're going to see a small group of Sith, but we're also going to see a large number of Jedi, and this is 100 years before the Phantom Menace, so this is going to be like a good prime for the Jedi, and seeing like where the Sith start off.
That's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to this show. I hope they give it to us sooner rather than later.
Yep. I mean, we're getting 4 projects, so I'm hoping we get one maybe in March, maybe like mid or late March, because you were going to start overlapping, and like Andor and Bad Batch were overlapping, which it wasn't bad. I mean, that's just
it was only for like 3 or 4 weeks, and I didn't mind that at all.
The only issue I could see running in with is Tales of the Jedi season 2 is I want that out by itself. That way, everyone can watch every episode and not have to worry about watching another series, right after or 2 days later. And I am loving the Tuesday at 8
At eight
p.m.
o'clock,
Central Time.
that was going to be my next point. Is that was a lot nicer than having to wait up till 2, which was fine when I was still working with you, and I didn't have to work till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that was fine. But now I'm up at 6:45. Will I still do it if I have to? Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Do I want to do it? No, not really.
yeah. Which it's a huge shift. But what I was
Yeah.
going to tell you is there's actually rumors like in the last episode, we're going to see a young Palpatine within the last 15 minutes of the last show.
Really?
It sounds a little too specific with a time frame, but if they're going, Palpatine lives up to like 200 or something like that.
Does he? I thought it was like 100. I don't know how that.
I would have to look at it again.
I don't know how that
But
timeline works with him.
Palpatine, I don't know if it's dark side induced or what, but he's actually able to be aged for a while. But that would be really tight because maybe if Palpatine gets his own show like in the future, because I don't know what they're going to do with the Acolyte. I feel like that's just going to kind of be like a one and done thing.
I would assume so. 2 max, kind of like Andor, but I'm sure it'd probably be better if it's just like a one and done kind of deal.
Right. So, and that's kind of how I look at it too. I just think it would be tight if we get to see a young Palpatine, and if we do get to see a Prime Yoda, like you can't ask for any more. Like that,
No.
10 out of 10 season. I don't care if there's a Rose Tico character. It's going to be a 10 out of 10. There's nothing that can mess it up for me.
I don't think so because I mean we're not. I mean we might see Yoda, but besides that, we're not probably going to see anyone who we're extremely familiar with, and it's hard to mess up a new character.
Right.
So I think that's going to be. I think it's going to be good that way too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be tight, man. Regardless, maybe. Nah, that'd be way too far. I mean, we are for sure getting a Wookiee character, and like I've said
That'd be
before,
cool.
maybe we get to really see the Yoda and Wookiee relationship. Maybe we get to see like an attack on Kashyyyk, like way, obviously 100 years before the prequel trilogy. We get to see, why Yoda has such a close relationship with the Wookiees, like he states in Episode 3.
That'd be very cool. I'd like to see that.
Like I said, it would be a stretch, but that's not going to be the. I mean, it's not really a acolyte story. It seems like we're going to be focused on a very small group of people and a pretty solid plot point. So
The only thing, maybe it's before he's like just before he's on the council and Grand Master. Maybe he's like stationed on Kashyyyk or something.
yeah, that'd be tight. Kind of like Quinlan Voss was.
Yeah, kind of.
Definitely wasn't in the main, Kashyyyk where, Tarful was like running like their village, but like Quinlan was like on the other side of kind of it didn't make it seem like he was like on the other side of the planet because that's just not happening. But it was kind of just like on the other side of the island or like the landmass of where, Yoda, Chewbacca, Tarful, like all of them were. So that would be really tight,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But I'm gonna kick this off. I'm gonna start with myself. But we have a question here: who would have become Palpatine's apprentice if Obi-Wan killed Anakin on Mustafar? So, personally, I think Palpatine has obviously done a lot of damage. If we look at Episode 3, and like the topic today, it's all about Sith. I think everything with Palpatine, dude, is full dark side, and I really think he has all this power at this particular moment, especially in Episode 3. And I feel like he would have just a complete switch flipped if Anakin did die, because everything that he just did, all this preparation for years, bringing up Anakin, obviously Star Wars isn't Star Wars without Anakin Skywalker and his story and his lineage. But if that was to happen, I think obviously Palpatine would do everything that he would as normal through the Senate, through the courts, through the Republic. But I think he would have a redemption with himself and bring Maul back. I've also
Yeah.
seen a theory on this where he would turn Ahsoka or Obi-Wan. And I don't like Obi-Wan. That just doesn't make sense. He just took off Anakin after being, presumed dark side Sith. That just wouldn't make sense. But Ahsoka is kind of interesting because, she's been done dirty by the Jedi. And Palpatine could easily, be like, I was under the impression of taking Anakin on as my apprentice under a new name, under a new identity. He finally understood everything that I was trying to, change within the order. And I think Ahsoka would be a good candidate. But with the significance Maul has to Star Wars fans all across the board, I think if Palpatine was to reignite someone as his apprentice, if Anakin died, it would be Maul. And I think that would just be kind of a good plot point for the two. Maul gets his redemption, and Palpatine definitely has a proven apprentice.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think really Ahsoka maybe. I didn't think about her, but when I've been thinking about it, it would either be he goes sniffing around to find Maul, running whatever little gang he's running in the underworld, or you go and you get Obi-Wan. I don't think there's any other options because I mean by this time, although 98% of the Jedi are dead, and I mean the ones that survived are like Padawans mostly. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of Knights survived too. I mean, there's a bunch of Jedi Knights survived, but most of the super powerful ones are going to be gone. I mean, you got Yoda. Obviously, there's no chance in hell he's going to switch to
No.
dark side. That's impossible. Ahsoka would be. I just don't think she's powerful enough. I mean, she was trained by Anakin, so she's an extremely tough foe. I mean, you see it in Ahsoka, but I mean, there's really it would be Maul or Obi-Wan. That's really it. And I don't. I mean, Obi-Wan would be kind of messed up after thinking he killed Anakin on Mustafar. The Order he's known his whole life is gone. His family's gone. His friends are gone. It's not inconceivable that that could happen,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think so. I think it would be Maul.
Yeah, Maul. I mean, it doesn't point to anyone else. But being asked this question after the last 5-6 months, what if Palpatine was like, I can I can feel the presence of a younger Balin Skull. Like, how dope would that be?
That'd be cool if you do like a Star Wars what if we throw him in there. I mean, I don't. I still like. I rewatched Ahsoka this week.
I just
I don't
rewatched
see
it
why
today,
he.
actually.
I don't see why he's so powerful enough that she can't stop him. I mean, he was obviously a knight, at least a knight in the Republic. We don't know if he's a master or not, so far as I know. He's a
No,
master.
he wasn't, but he was a general during the Clone Wars.
So
He
that
led
means
his
that
own
yeah. So
battalion,
that means at least he was a knight.
which is
But
insane because what, see, man, this is, and I know there's every episode that we have, there's always something that makes me think, like, dude, Dave Filoni is a bad man because,
mhm.
you know, the Ahsoka, the Ahsoka trailers and all the previews you got, we're like, oh yeah, that's cool. We get to see like these two people, they have red lightsabers, but they kind of have like orange to them. And, the voice of Gar Saxon is here, like in live action playing a character. Like, it's so dope, for Ray Stevenson's character to get such a huge like blast of a character. Same with Shin. Obviously,
Mhm.
you're a huge fan of Shin. I love Shin too. Who
Mhm.
doesn't love Shin? But it's crazy to think that Balin Skull has this huge story, and rewatching Ahsoka, Thrawn was like, "And who might you be?" And Morgan Elsbeth, introduces him as Balin Skull, and then the next sentence Thrawn has to Balin is he calls him General Baylan Skoll. So obviously, with the work that Thrawn and Anakin had in the Clone Wars, word of mouth, he knows, Baylan as a Jedi. And also, too,
Yeah.
with the Night Sister mothers, when they said it reeked of Jedi, I don't think it was about Sabine. She's not a Jedi. In that, it's Morgan Elsbeth, it's Shin, it's Baylan, it's Sabine, and they, surrounded Sabine with the orbs that they had, and it created like that triangle ray. But it's all Baylan, dude. Like, that's what reeked of Jedi, because obviously he still has back and forth. He's, Jedi tendencies, but dark side. He doesn't trust the Order. And dude, I'm about to I have some notes here, and I'm about to freaking get together a Baylan video, because this shit with the Mortis gods, he has to, something's gonna play in, and it's gonna be fire.
I think so too. And you're talking about this saying it reeks of Jedi. I always took it as, even from the first time I watched it, that they were referring to him. And then Ahsoka was, or not Ahsoka, but Sabine, they were like, okay. I don't think they thought about her like that. I always assumed that they were referring to him.
See, and that's for Sabine. I want her to, wield the Force. Like, it took me 7 episodes of Ahsoka to be like, oh, okay, I'm cool with this.
Yeah,
but
same here.
She is a descendant of Tar Vizsla. We've talked about this before as well, but she's gonna have that Force, like Dave and like George say, it's like karate. It takes a mass amount of talent to be really good at it, practice, repetition, all of that. So, I mean, if Sabine has all this time on Peridea with Ahsoka, she's obviously going to be a lot stronger.
Yeah, I
but
agree.
I think, man, on Peridea, I think Baylan is still going to have this thing where his presence is going to be felt the entire time while they're on Peridea. And I think Baylan, bro, realistically, I think he's going to take on the side more of the dark side, because it's a lot more powerful. And it seems like he's searching for power. So I think Baylan, if he was to, make a long stretch, even though I think he's going to be one with the Force and take on that power, I think he would have been a dope Sith.
I think so too. I think he's going to be like you're talking about the Morris God. He's even more like the brother.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it'd be so fire.
I think so too.
And see, I like those characters that have, both sides, because I feel like everyone, has, violent thoughts, or like upset, mad. Like, that's typically of the Sith. Or, you have good days, you have happy days, you have happy feelings, and that's more of the Jedi. But it just, like, the father seems the most realistic out of all Star Wars, just because, he's both yin and yang.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's what I like. It's the more of the reality instead of picking a side.
I agree.
But I get down with some Sith. I think it's dope.
I do too. It's fire.
What Sith has the best story or the best arc in your opinion?
I'm not. I don't see a whole lot of it, honestly, because I don't know a whole lot about like the old Republic and seeing like all the old Sith. So really, the ones I'm most familiar with are Palpatine and Dooku. So it's going to have to be Dooku, just because I've just seen the most of his arc, and you can watch it in Tales of the Jedi. You can watch him go and watch him slowly become disillusioned with the Republic, to where he's killing Yaddle in the works, and is like a fully fledged member of the Sith, leading us up towards Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if you look at Dooku, like the way he told Obi-Wan, like, hey, you can join me and we can really, take down this Darth Sidious dude I'm trying to tell you about, but you won't listen. And, it's Dooku's part of that lineage, from Yoda all the way to Ahsoka, Sabine, like wherever that ends. And he's the second man in that list. And, he was, I feel like, was, Yoda's right-hand man until he left the Order.
Yeah.
and became Mace Windu. But I mean, Dooku, man, you can't go wrong. I think the Clone Wars did him excellent justice in
Hmm.
elaborating on his character more. And just some of my favorite things with Dooku is the beef he had like with the Night Sisters, like with Mother Talzin, like everything that
Yeah, that was cool.
You know, Dooku is actually, or Palpatine was more scared of Mother Talzin than Dooku was. Like Dooku was like, whatever, like I'll just send like a battalion of battle droids and General Grievous to go wipe that out. Like Palpatine didn't even want to do that, which is crazy. So Dooku definitely has that, fight or flight always on 24/7.
Yeah.
But if we're going to talk about Beth Sith lightsaber, are you sliding with Dooku as well?
Yes. Yeah, that's an easy choice in my opinion. I mean, Palpatine's all gold ones are cool, but when I bought my Galaxy's Edge lightsaber, I got Luke's,
Mm-hmm.
but it was, I mean, and I don't regret buying Luke's, but it was very, very nearly Dooku's. And because, I mean, the curved hill is just fire. It's awesome, it's cool, and I still want it.
I know. And I wonder, like, if you're to, twirl it, mess with it, try to do some tricks. Like, I wonder how it sits. Like, if it's awkward, when you try to spin or anything. Like, I think that's dope, especially for a character like Dooku. Like obviously unique, has a one of a kind lightsaber. But I just wonder, like, I need to get one as well, just that way I can see how it works, basically.
Yeah, I think they said that he, like, being Christopher Lee, I think they said that he wanted it curved because he had, like, fencing lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that it was easier to hold that way. So that's why I think that's what I've read. It's been a long time, but I believe that's what I've read, and that's why he said. But second place would have been Darth Vader's because his
Yes.
was also, it was, when I bought mine, it was Luke's, it was Dooku's, and it was Vader's. The only reason I'm not giving Vader's is not is because it's pretty damn close to Anakin's. It's a little more black, like the emitter's a little shorter, I think,
Yes. And that's
but
what's cool
otherwise
too,
it's
because
pretty close.
yeah, it's right there. It's literally Anakin's, Jedi Knight lightsaber from episode 2,
Yeah,
Padawan lightsaber. But and I like that, difference, especially from episode 3 to 4 with Anakin's lightsaber, is it's, all chromed out. The handle pieces, has black slots on it. That's cool. But, with the omitter and the still representing his old self, keeping that lightsaber form just transferred into dark side is dope.
yeah,
But
it's awesome.
if we get a Darth Vader show, I gotta see him bleed that crystal and just let
Yes,
all that hate. And the entire, see, with the Kenobi, like the shaking screen effect, like that would be tight, as if they did that when Darth Vader's bleeding his crystal. It couldn't go any other way.
I wish they'd give us the Darth Vader show. They're never going to. It's never going to happen. But I wish they would because we could see a bunch of shit like that between. I'd say give us him between the Kenobi show and the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to see. Like him in his prime, fuck you, pissed off. Anyone
But
gets in
yeah,
my way, they're gonna die.
yeah, pretty
But
much.
Disney's not gonna do that, and I'm not because I mean it's gonna be violent and
Yes.
dark, so they're not gonna do it. But it'd be awesome to see it.
And see, this is another time where you get Hayden before he gets too old. Hayden, um, couldn't stop thanking Dave Filoni for, giving him the script to Ahsoka, which is dope. Deborah Chow, portrayed Hayden in a good way in Vader, which I think if we do get a Vader season or series, movie, whatever, you know, you talking about, the rise of the Empire, that kind of timeline. What I think would be dope is when at the end of A New Hope, when Vader gets shot off, I think that would be a good pickup. Imagine the scene of a
Yeah,
show or movie starting with like Vader just twirling like in the distance, and Death Star 1 just blew up, and there is a book or a comic or something. I've seen a lore video about it, but I think it was Legends, maybe. But I mean, even if not, bring it to light. But Vader was shot to a different planet, so he went ahead and like kind of crash landed, and the natives to this, said planet were like surrounded his ship. So when he got out, they were all like defense mode. So Vader was just like, all right, cool, whatever, and just like like force stomps the ground, and like everyone just like shoots off. It's kind of like Star Killer type shit, but
That's sick.
it's more so what you'd see like when Vader and Obi-Wan fought for the third time. So like when he got his mask cracked open, like when he pushed his hand to the ground and Obi-Wan went underneath, like something
Cool.
kind of like that. But I'm pretty sure he had to get his ship fixed somehow, or had, some other Empire people get him, because, like Tarkin and the Death Star, like they're all gone. So
Yeah.
it's basically he's just stranded and he has to get back to the Emperor. And I feel like that would be a good time, because obviously the Emperor is going to be pissed. Like, how did you let this dude who has no idea how to, fly a ship perfectly just destroy the Death Star, the thing that we've been working on for, the last 2 decades almost.
Yeah.
And that would be tight, speaking of Sith, seeing Palpatine just freaking pissed and just
Going
pushing
ape shit.
Vader, maybe bringing up Padme, like just pissing him off. And I think that would be just tight as fuck.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see that. I don't, like I said, I don't think we will.
Yeah, it's touchy,
But
dude. Vader, anything with Vader is touchy. And I thought it was touchy with Obi-Wan. A lot of fans hated Kenobi, but it just shows that it's a touchy subject. If it's a top 3 character in Star Wars, it's going to be touchy.
you just don't. I think they're worried about. They throw him into Kenobi, and they gave us a little bit of him in Rogue One. I think they're worried they're gonna like one that it would be dark, like I was saying,
Mm-hmm.
because it would be, but I think they're worried they're gonna like oversaturate us with him, for the lack of a better term. They're gonna give it. They're worried they're gonna give us too much of him. So if they throw in another show, we're just gonna be like, okay, it's Darth Vader, but instead of being like, oh fuck, it's Darth Vader, that's fucking awesome, kind of
Yes.
thing.
And that you're reaching fans all across the board, OT fans all the way to, what sequel fans could have gotten in a villain. And basically what the sequels are stemmed from is, the Anakin Skywalker saga. So I
Yeah,
think it's, like I said, it's a touchy ass subject. It would be so easy to mess it up. But
yeah,
I
it would.
just, I mean, pretty much anywhere from maybe, some Palpatine story, whether we get that in Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Sith, the Acolyte, that would all, make good sense. Darth Vader getting his own show, maybe some more with Dooku. There's still some stuff between, you know, like I think it's right before Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. So it's kind of like right over those years of when Qui-Gon died. He had just a little bit of time, obviously to go from dark black hair to gray hair.
Mm-hmm.
And, here he is with Palpatine, and then here he is in the Clone Wars at the end of Episode 2. I mean, it's all good stuff, man. I want I want a little more Dooku. I want more live action Maul. And, pretty
Yeah,
much Sith wise, gotta love Vader. He's good, but like we just said, you don't get to see him a lot. It's just kind of like we know who he is, but that also makes him more of like a badass character. You don't even need to see him a lot to understand, what he's worth. So
yeah.
Maul
Just
and
mentioning him will do it the trick a lot of time.
oh yeah, like Maul and Dooku definitely get it. But I mean, back to like Vader, dude. Like I didn't like the Kenobi series helped me understand more, like that Anakin is Darth Vader, or Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker. I feel
Yeah,
like the way the Kenobi show was choreographed was kind of weird, but the story was really good. I think some of the focus points were kind of, over to the left and over to the right, and it wasn't just going, straight down the road. But
yeah,
the way it helped me understand that even more, it was pretty tight. So I definitely give a thumbs up to Deborah Chow, and actually showing how scary Vader was. Like when he's choking that dad up in the middle of the street and then snaps his son's neck. Like, dude, what the fuck?
Well, I remember I texted you when I was watching it that stormtrooper falls off before this happens and gets cut in half by that gate.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we don't see shit like that in like a Disney Star Wars. I was like, oh fuck. I was like, we might be about to get something good.
Yeah.
And then he just goes up there and he's like, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. There goes like a young dude just getting his neck snapped. That's
I'm like, I expected something to go down, but god damn.
Yeah. It wasted no time on that.
No
but
kidding.
What another thing that would be cool, like in a Vader show, or like a little thing we get to see with Vader, would be him training with the Inquisitors. He hated the Inquisitors. He thought they were stupid and made no sense. But Palpatine, obviously being the asshole he is, he was like, I'm gonna do things that just piss you off all day, every day. That way I'm just in your head rent free and you're just pissed, because that's when Vader operated the best, is when he was pissed. Yeah. So, and he used to, like cut off the arms, limbs of the Inquisitors and, basically like mess them up. So, just to see some of that Vader rage is something that, Star Wars fans really need to see. It expands the dark side. We get this, it just keeps adding to Palpatine's, smart ways, but it just needs to happen.
That would be awesome. If they want to do like a Disney Plus subscription where you have to pay like an extra $30 a month to watch that, that'd be like, bad, bro. No problem.
Right. Credit or debit?
Facts. No problem.
Western Union money order? No problem.
You want blood or something? That's fine. Let's get it going.
I know, we need to be the freaking Cat Williams of Star Wars and start exposing these Star Wars theorists, because some of these damn YouTubers, man, it's just like, why do you hate this so much? Like, is that hating something or loving something even more doesn't make you more of a fan? I get it. It's, some
nothing's
titles
perfect, but I mean, come on.
Some titles will grab you, compared to others, but it's just like, fuck, man, like just like it or don't like it. That's it.
At Star Wars Theory.
It's like, fuck, bro, just like it or don't like it. Don't watch it.
Facts.
Or not. But yeah, man, I mean, is there anything else in the dark side of the Force that you could elaborate on? Anything you want to add to?
There's not much I can really add to this. I mean, we've pretty much, like I said, I know Palpatine and I know Dooku, but really we've covered all my knowledge on this. Because I need to read more on it. Besides listening to like some Star Wars lore videos on YouTube, every once in a while, that's really all I got.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think we've touched up on some good stuff. The Vader series, Disney, if you want to give it to us, a Disney Plus, we will be your first subscribers if necessary.
If you need like an executive producer, I will do it.
Yes, I will just sit in the background, give me a notepad, and I got a pen. I will bring my own pen. You don't need to include anything for me. Just let me sit there and just listen and take notes, and I'll give you some ideas.
Just fly us out.
Yeah.
That's all we want.
They're like, yeah, this room is 4 rooms down from where Dave Filoni will be. You cannot breathe the air that he breathes. You may contaminate him, and he will not think clearly. You may not look him in the eye. Yes. This is the man who has Star Wars in the palm of his hands. So, don't come near this man. You get a pen, a paper, and wear a mask.
I'll be like, no problem, bro. Bet.
I'll double up masks. I'll put a face shield on too, whatever you need it.
Get like one of the gas masks or something if that's what you need, bro. Let's go.
Yeah. But Disney, if you hear us, go ahead, email us, let us know, comment down below. If we get a Disney with a check mark comment in the comments, we will officially quit our podcast and just join your crew. But In other news, I'm the Brandalorian. I'm out. Peace.
We'll catch y'all next time.
Later.